I'm surprised people didn't catch on sooner with the Encore album that, you know, I'm, I'm taking a bow.
So is this your last album?
I don't know.
My new name is Rain Man.
2004 was a year when the world was riding the wave of Eminem's meteoric rise. Having cemented his place as one of the most influential rappers of all time, with albums like the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem Show. In the early 2000s, Eminem was unstoppable. His 2000 album, the Marshall Mathers LP, became one of the fastest-selling albums of all time, moving over 1.78 million copies in its first week. Then came the Eminem Show in 2002, which sold over 1.3 million copies in its first week and won a Grammy for Best Rap Album. Then came Encore. The expectations for his next project were sky high. Work on Encore began in 2003, with Eminem once again teaming up with his longtime collaborators Dr. Dre and the Bass Brothers.
The only pressure that I ever really feel is within myself to try to top myself as far as making records and making each record better than the last one. And that's really where the pressure comes from, as far as like, do I feel like I've topped myself, or do I feel like I've even matched from each album to each album? Like the awards and all that stuff, like I'm grateful for, but I really don't stress on, I really don't dwell on them. It's I feel great to have them. I definitely feel blessed, but at the same time, I just concentrate on making the music and what feels right to me. Title for the album, Encore, we had pretty much under wraps for a long time. Like I was sitting with that title in my head for, I think, from when towards the end of the Eminem Show, was like, if my next album, when I do it, this is what I want to do is make an encore to the Eminem Show. I had a little vision, and it was just a matter of just bringing it to life and making all the songs fall in the right place and putting everything, and we jigsaw puzzled it out, and now it's going down.
It was late 2004, and the music world was buzzing with anticipation. But then, something unexpected happened. A faint whisper turned into a loud roar across online forums and chat rooms. Songs from Encore, unfinished, unpolished, and raw, had leaked onto the internet. At first, the leaks were just rumors, shrugged off by skeptics. But soon, grainy MP3s started making rounds. Tracks like We As Americans, Love You More, Cannabich, and Bully began surfacing, sending fans into a frenzy. For listeners, it was like catching a glimpse into Eminem's creative process, raw and unfiltered. For Eminem and his team, however, it was a nightmare.
That album actually would have been right there with the Eminem Show if we hadn't had those leaks. Because if Bully would have been on there, the Cannabich song,
We As Americans?
Bully, We As Americans, Love You More.
There's an intruder.
Yeah, and I had 7 songs from it that leaked.
Yeah.
And it was half the album. If the leaks wouldn't have happened and it would have been the best song, it would have been the best songs from Encore, would have made it with those songs, and then it would have been definitely a more solid
Still a
project.
great album.
I don't hate that album, by the way. I don't hate it. I hate when I think back to that time where I was at in life. Like, I cringe when I think about that shit, but I don't hate the actual body of work. There's a couple songs that were probably a little too goofy, I should have left off. I don't think it matched the caliber of the Eminem Show, but there was still some songs on there that I really did put a lot into. So
the album was heavily anticipated, and the stakes were high. Eminem had just launched his label, Shady Records, and was nurturing rising stars like 50 Cent and Obi Trice. Let's start with the context. Eminem was at the peak of his fame. He was controversial, raw, and unfiltered, a voice of rebellion for a generation. But with Encore, something felt different. Many fans noticed the shift in tone compared to his previous works. At the second annual Vibe Awards ceremony in November 2004, Eminem congratulated Dr. Dre on receiving the prestigious Vibe Legend Award. During that time, Eminem himself openly acknowledged on multiple occasions that his Encore album was, in his own words, strange.
Dre, what's up, homie? It's your boy M. Congrats on the V Legend Award. Sorry I couldn't be there tonight to present it to you myself, but You know, I'm out here in Europe right now promoting this really strange album we just did, Encore.
But with fame came pressure. By 2004, Eminem was facing intense scrutiny from the media, legal battles over his lyrics, and struggles with addiction. He was also grappling with personal issues, including a rocky relationship with his ex-wife Kim Scott and the responsibilities of fatherhood to his daughter Haley.
It just seems like ever since he's got, famous, blew up, our relationship went downhill from there, He became arrogant and cocky, and everything that he did for me or the kids, he has to be praised for, And, he's so used to getting so much attention and people praising him for his work that he expects that when he comes home, and it's not the same. I don't look at him like that,
Released on November 12, 2004, Encore was both a commercial success and a critical lightning rod. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, selling over 710,000 copies in its first 3 days and eventually going quadruple platinum. But the reception was mixed. While tracks like Mockingbird, Like Toy Soldiers, and Mosh showcased Eminem's lyrical brilliance, other songs like Big Weenie and Rain Man were criticized for their goofy and self-indulgent tone. Like Toy Soldiers was more than just a song. It was Eminem's plea for peace. In it, he reflected on the devastating consequences of rap beefs and the toll they took on everyone involved. But not long before releasing this track, Eminem found himself in a heated feud with Ja Rule. The tension stemmed from Ja Rule's alliance with Murder Inc., who had a long-standing rivalry with his new signed artist, 50 Cent. Ja Rule escalated the feud with his infamous track Loose Change, where he made disrespectful comments about Eminem's family. The line about Eminem's daughter, Haley, crossed a line that couldn't be ignored.
All of a sudden comes out his face and says a line about my daughter. When it got to that level, that's when it got crazy.
Shut up, Em, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known What's Haley gonna be when she grows up?
Eminem, along with his group D12 and 50 Cent and his group G Unit, responded with a series of scathing diss tracks, including Hail Mary, Bumpheads, and Bully. The back and forth intensified, drawing attention across the hip-hop world. However, by the time Eminem wrote Like Toy Soldiers, he expressed regret over how far things had gone.
Now I've inherited 50's beef, he's inherited mine, so now he can't be on the cover of the Source magazine because I got this beef over here, and he's being attacked by Ja saying things about me. What the intent was to do is to just say, at least from our side, like, this is a chapter in our lives that we want to close, and we want to move on from this beef. So we're closing this chapter, and from our side, pretty much, just saying we're done with it, walking away from it. That was our way of saying it. But also, in another way, the term toy soldier, the way that I looked at it was like, I do feel like a lot of artists, become pawns in the game. A lot of people at different labels and whatnot, the owners of record labels and stuff like that, when there's beef between artists, can go home and go to sleep and don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to, and it helps increase record sales. And yeah, they love it when there's beef because it does that. You know what I'm saying? But they don't realize a lot of times that how real shit can get. And it's usually, I feel like it's usually people, from other people's entourages that you usually end up getting fucked up or, sometimes killed. And that's how far beef can go. And I've reached the age where I feel like I'm done with it. I'm not trying to beef no more. I'm trying to move on. I'm not trying to run away from beef if it ever crosses my path again. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not trying to start shit. I'm not trying to do anything to, perpetuate any more beef to another level. I just feel like I'm done with it. I'm moving on with that chapter.
Through Like Toy Soldiers, Eminem reminded the world that behind the music and the headlines, real lives were at stake. It remains a raw and emotional moment in his career, a call for reflection in an industry often driven by rivalry. Another heartfelt moment came with Mockingbird. Eminem opens up about his struggles as a father, addressing his daughter Haley and his niece Elena. The vulnerability in this track struck a chord with fans, proving that beneath the brash exterior was a man grappling with real-life challenges. But then there were tracks like Just Lose It and Ass Like That. These songs leaned heavily into humor and absurdity, a stark contrast to the serious undertones of his earlier albums. Critics were divided. While some appreciated the comedic relief, others felt it lacked the depth and edge that defined Eminem's previous work. In the mid-2000s, a surprising feud sparked between Eminem and the king of pop, Michael Jackson. It all began in 2004 when Eminem released the music video for his song Just Lose It. The video was a typical Slim Shady production, satirical and over the top, but it included scenes mocking Michael Jackson. Eminem imitated Jackson's infamous hair fire incident from a Pepsi commercial, his plastic surgery, and even made light of the child abuse allegations Jackson faced.
Tell us how that hurt you and how you're feeling about it now.
I've never met Mr. Eminem, and to have him, I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. And I just don't want to say too much more than that. But he should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. And when he speaks, people listen. And it was wrong of Eminem to do what he did. I've been an artist most of my life doing what I do, and I've never attacked another fellow artist. Great artists don't do that. You don't have to do that.
This wasn't the first instance of Eminem poking fun at Michael Jackson. In November 2002, Michael Jackson sparked public outrage when he dangled his baby, Prince Michael II, nicknamed Blanket, over the balcony of a Berlin hotel. Back in 2003, Eminem stirred controversy by dangling a fake toy baby out of a Glasgow hotel window. Eminem tossed the doll into the air and pretended to drop it from a balcony, parodying the infamous Berlin incident involving Michael Jackson. At first, some fans were startled, mistaking the doll for a real baby, but it quickly became clear it was just a toy. The reception to Encore was mixed. Critics praised tracks like Mosh for its political commentary and Yellow Brick Road for its introspection, but they also criticized the album for its inconsistency and the inclusion of what some called filler tracks. So, what happened? Many believe that during the making of Encore, Eminem's struggles with addiction began to take a toll on his creativity and focus. In later interviews, Eminem himself admitted that he wasn't in the best place mentally during this period. Behind the scenes, Eminem was battling addiction to prescription drugs, a struggle that he would later speak openly about. This period marked the beginning of a dark chapter in his life, leading to a hiatus from music after Encore. Encore may not be Eminem's most celebrated album, but it's an essential part of his journey. Looking back, it's clear that Encore was more than just an album. It was a turning point, a glimpse into the struggles that would ultimately lead Eminem to rebuild himself and reclaim his throne.
Make some fucking noise, y'all!
That's what I'm talking about. That's lovely.
Yeah, that's a lot better.